Yes. The Norfolk Southern High Hoods. Once numbered in the hundreds on the Norfolk Southern roster many years ago, charged with every duty from high-value manifest trains to slow coal drags over the Saluda Grade, and some of them were able to pull down the last steam power branch lines. Now the numbers have climbed down and steadily decreased over the years, with now only 40 to 50 of them remain on Norfolk Southern's roster, with only two models, the SD40-2 in the 1600s model, and the 5100 and 5200 models of the GP38-2. So, what is the high hood, and how are we going to talk about this today? So today we'll be talking about the high hoods of what it once be, and the history of it, and its current state, and what it serves for the Southern, aka the Norfolk Southern Railway. What is the design of the high hood like? What makes it so different from the other locomotives? The high hood originated in other steam locomotives they replaced. The massive bulk of the steam engine's boiler has shielded many crews' injuries in collisions and wrecks, and the typical short hood forward design of the first generation diesel must have appeared to be death traps to crews who have previously sat 30 or more feet away from the collision. As a compromise, railroads ordered many first-generation diesels that the long hood was the locomotive's front end, and the view from the cab was not dissimilar to that from the steam engine. The rear short hood was kept at the same roof height. Its space often housed steam heat equipment in the day's passenger trains, but was later used for amenities such as the crew toilet. Weird fact, but okay. However, times had quickly changed. The benefits of the low short hood, or the standard cab, was demonstrated by railroads such as the Santa Fe and Southern Pacific Railway, which dominated the western coast of the United States, and other railroads and manufacturers would follow. By the 1970s, the most locomotives were ordered with low short hood, and even those with high short hood ran short hood forward, which basically is saying high hoods like to look like a brick. The only railroads to buck this trend were the Norfolk and Western and the Southern Railway, which were the biggest compromisers of the high hood at the time, which continued ordering high short hood locomotives equipped for bi-directional running until they merged to form Norfolk Southern in June 1982. The newly formed Norfolk Southern dropped the practice of having high hoods that look like bricks, if I'm saying, ordering new SD50s and GP59s with low short hoods, but still designating the long hood as the front of it. It wasn't until 1989 that the short low hood was marked with an F on new Norfolk Southern locomotives. Still, the practice of running long hood forward continued. Many photographs of it exist of GE U-23Bs or the B-30-7s running in the manner well into the 1990s and some into the early 2000s. And many Norfolk Southern local jobs still do today, where the facilities run to turn locomotives are scarce. You can find some of it working in rail yards just for yard jobs. But even those jobs are performed with short hood equipped locomotives. Just like the last members of its nearly extinct species, the high hood diesel exists mostly in captivity, confined to yard jobs and switching duties, just like I said. And now, 40 years later, only two types of locomotive models are still left on the roster. One of them is the GP38-2. The Southern Sentinels, some of the smallest power, the 257 GP38-2s, built for the Southern Railway from 1972 through 1979, makes them the most numerous example of the high hood diesel of any Class 1 railroad, which While nearly half of it remain in active service, most have their noses chopped and are now oriented for short hood forward running. The 59 with high short hoods are incapable of leaving yard service or leading trains, which they would lack the PTC equipment of their fleetmates received during the rebuilds that gave them low short hoods. The exception is Norfolk Southern 5214 with one which I've seen that runs around in Andrews Yard in Columbia, which I have a picture of it myself. I can display it right here. Norfolk Southern 5214, or formerly known as Southern 5214, was equipped with the PTC and seen leading road trains as recently as June 2023, which there has been more of it like in later months in October, November, and December, like going on as far as 191 and 192 from Columbia to Macon. The next model is the ST40-2, one of the best locomotives models that ever exist. Once the workhorse, now the Phantom Stallion, Norfolk and Western, the Southern, and Conrail all operated the ST40-2 in large quantities. So 50 years after the engine first hit the rails, Norfolk Southern still does, which only contains the high hoods from the SD40-2 model, with over 200 units in active service, which is pretty impressive even after 40 years after Norfolk and Western and Southern were absorbed into Norfolk Southern in 1982. Additionally, the SD40-3 rebuild program is in progress, paving the way for the units to operate into the 2030s and into the future. But only 10 of the locomotives are on the company's roster, all from Norfolk and Western and the NW, still sport from the high short hood. The 10 from 1625 to 1635, excluding 1633, which has been rebuilt into a slug sometime a few years ago, have an EMD norm order of number 73638, and are the last 6-axle high hoods. At this time, in 2023, which this year is 2024, by the way, as I'm talking, numbers 1625 and 1626 are temporarily stored somewhere, while the remaining 8 have been slowly dragged out of the dead lines to fill holes in the Norfolk Southern Yard fleet. Some of it being in Detroit, in the Detroit area, which this picture is taken by Warren, Michigan rail fan. Some as recently as last year, when 1628 made an appearance at Bellevue Yard after a long absence. The GP38-2s, none of the 10 SD40-2s are equipped with the PTC and are confined to yard service, and the occasional manifest train as a trailing unit, mostly in the Midwest, like I just said. Currently, a pair of units are allocated to Bellevue Yard in Ohio, while single units have been seen in Detroit, Michigan, and Elkhart, Indiana. And that is all for today on the history of the high hoods of the SD40-2s and the GP38-2s, of like what they are and its historical background. And I want y'all to follow on more. You don't have to necessarily follow me or anything, but if you want to, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe buttons, and we'll continue doing more interactive videos as we go on throughout the month and the years. So go ahead and recommend more to your friends and all that, and share this with everybody else about this. And God bless you and have a good day.